Why, hello and welcome back. This is episode 22 because the last episode, when I said it was episode 20 right before the new year, I was wrong and it was 21 because I am not good at checking my past work math stuff. So this is episode 22. It is January 29th, I think. Pretty sure, almost the end of the month. It has been I don't know. I want to say hectic, but that's mostly my brain. It has been a January. I hate winter so much. I hate it. This video, much like the last one, I did not get married. I did get a ring to track my sleep, though. I did. And, okay, so like this is my main scrubbing hand, so I'm not going to wear it on this hand, right? Not right-handed. So left hand is where I'm going to wear the ring. And then, like, this is stupid. So I don't wear jewelry because I still am a pirate. One earring still to this day. I don't know. So I'm wearing it on my, because the only thing I've ever worn was a wedding band at one point, right? So here we are. So it tracks my sleep. Turns out I don't sleep much. When I do sleep, it's light sleep. Pitter patter, let's get at her. Captain Cushing's. I finally got her medication today, so I'm going to start it tomorrow. So January's been a January. Right now, we're covered in snow and ice is the worst. Haha. It snowed this past weekend, and it snowed, I don't know, probably close to a foot, and then it sleeted for like close to 10 hours or some shit. And so, fluffy snow, ice. And it's been colder than a witch's titty out there all week, so it is not melting at all. And it is just the worst. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate winter so much. And I'm tired of it. I found this today. I don't know if you guys can read it. It says, "Fuck this shit show, a gratitude journal for tired ass women." I found it because I had a bookshelf in my main room that blocked my closet door, but it was right where the dogs peed from when I drank, right? So the dogs peed, it got under the bookshelf, so then I was just going to keep peeing there. So old bookshelf went out to the trash. Russ built me the new bookshelf that I bought, and here it is in my closet. And all the books came in here, and then I had to put them on the shelf, so I went through. No! Is it still going? Nice. All right, I didn't end it. That was crazy because I dropped the phone. So, you're welcome. I don't know how I did that. So Russ put that together for me because he's the best, and I'm not handy. Also, I get so mad. I tried. So in any case, I put the books away, and I found that, and I'm gonna try to use it because I never have. So I shoveled once when it was fluffy, and then Russ came and he helped because I've got bad hands. And wrists and forearms, if we're honest about it, from cleaning. I think I've got some arthritis and trigger finger in the wrong finger from scrubbing. Whatever. Charlie, stop licking. This bitch was eating poopsicles today. I saw her in the yard because the yard is a tundra. It's frozen. It's like a ice skating rink. So when they're pooping on top of the snow. I looked outside. She was just eating poopsicles. That's gross. So Russ came over and he shoveled the ice. So loud. So my shovel's really old. Like, I don't know. I've had that shovel longer than I've known Russ. So it broke. So I ordered shovels, one for me and one for Russ, because his broke too, ironically. And they came in the mail today, and I have to put them together. And who buys a shovel? As I spit, who buys a shovel assuming they're gonna have to put it together? Nobody. So I started two, and then I needed another arm, and I only got two. So I got mad, and I stopped because I got mad. So that's why Russ puts stuff together when I buy it, because one, he's nice, and two, I don't have the temperament. So, but I found this, and I'm gonna do that, I think. Fuck this shit show, gratitude journal for tired ass women. Cause you know what, I am tired. Cause this thing, all I do is light sleep. I barely ever get any deep sleep or REM sleep. I apparently just float right in the light sleep. So that's interesting. I went to a hormone place. I got my Charlie. Stop nesting on my pillow. So I went to a hormone place and I got my hormones tested. For the migraines. Today is the first day I felt good since last Thursday because of perimenopause. Men. How nice to only worry about your little baby testicles. How nice. So I got tested. Turns out my hormones are in fact out of whack. So I ordered Charlie. I ordered a bunch of. Pardon me. Stop, please. That is the pillow I sleep on. Hello. So I am gonna get some hormones that'll hopefully help me not feel so out of whack, because it's just fun how our bodies, this bitch, just continually attack themselves. So I will hopefully get those within the next couple days and start that, and might get some roid rage because I'm gonna start some testosterone. I was like, are there any side effects? And I knew exactly what I was thinking might come, and she just nailed it. She's like, well, you might get some hair growth, and I was like, no. Ugh. I mean, I shave because I think I've talked about this on here. I love the women now who are like, I'm not going to shave. That's great for you. I don't like hair. I'm not going to do shave. So yeah, so that is about the things that have been happening in my life. So not much, and work and migraine and ew outside. I hate it. Casino night is on Saturday. That'll be fun. It's a fundraiser for my recovery softball league, and it's at I don't know, an Eagles or something. And I get to play casino games with $25,000 in fake money, so I don't lose any money, which is nice because I'm poor because of migraine and snow. And I'll see my friends who I haven't seen in like 2 months. I'm really excited, and I'm gonna dress up. I'm gonna be fancy pants. I'm just really excited. It'll be a really good time. So that is Saturday. And yeah, so last time I was on this thing, I was talking about things that got on my nerves, and I forgot a couple. So I figured I would continue into that because there was one in particular I wanted to bitch about, and I didn't. And then I remembered like right after I recorded this thing, so I'm going to do it now. So one of the things, so my mom and my dad came up the weekend after my birthday because they were on a cruise. They're on a cruise right now, man. I am getting no inheritance, and they're not getting tan. So mom and dad. So they just keep going on these cruises. They don't listen to this. They don't listen to my podcast. None of my family does. Support. And then anytime I see them and they tell me they're going on vacation, I say it to their faces. I'm like, you guys are wasting my inheritance. So they're on another cruise right now. And again, they don't get tan. My dad normally burns like the first day that they're on vacation, and then he fights that the rest of the time. So that's probably why he had some basal cell carcinoma at one point. So they came up right after a cruise, and they took me out to dinner for my birthday. It was me and Russ and them, and we got an appetizer. I wanted mussels. Turns out it's really not your birthday. So my dad did not. So we did not get mussels, and we ordered crab dip. One of the best parts of a crab dip is that crusty cheese, right? One of the best parts of any dip is that crusty cheese on top. And this dude with his bad mustache, I don't know what it is about the mustaches now. There's that movie 100 Ways to Die in the West with the guy who made Family Guy and Neil Patrick Harris. And Neil Patrick Harris in that movie, he's got a beard haberdashery and he's a mustache haberdashery. But in any case, he's got a haberdashery, and he is one of the mustaches with the right where you do the and it just became such a D-bag thing. It's like you just picture men with these D-bag mustaches drinking IPAs, vaping on probably mango sorbet in really tight jeans. They've been so noisy tonight. I just want to kill them. Probably with a random tattoo they think makes them look cool. And yeah, that's what I think of when I think of these mustaches. So that was the mustache the waiter had. And he came out with the goddamn crab dip and he looked at us and he was like, no, just to make sure that everybody gets some crab. He stirred up the crab dip. He stirred up the crab dip. He took the crab dip and he stirred all of it up. And so like sometimes a crab dip, what they'll do is they'll put lump crab on top. Because it's fucking delicious, and he stirred all of it in, and all that does is it takes those beautiful lumps and it makes them into stringy little pieces of crab that are fucking everywhere. And it's not your crab dip. You just work here. You aren't eating it. No one was inviting you to sit down, mustache douchebag. He ruined the crab dip. That. Oh, my face. I felt my face. I felt my face as he walked away. My dad looked at me and he was like, you're becoming one of us. And I was like, you don't know why I'm so angry. He had no idea why I was so mad. I was so mad about this stupid dip. I even told my girl Maggie how one night we went out for Mexican and we got a queso dip with chorizo in it, and she stirred in all the chorizo. And sometimes you just want some cheese without the chorizo. And I love Maggie, and I wasn't actually mad at Maggie, but if you don't stir everything together, you can get pieces of all of it. Like it doesn't have, like, you know what I mean? But not to even add, it wasn't even a part of the fucking dip, and he stirred all the goddamn dip. And I swear to God, I've never wanted to hit a man in the face so fucking bad. This is why women don't date. So, I literally hope he's an incel. I hope that he never has sex. I hope that no one touches his penis. I hope he just sits around masturbating to his own mustache. He's that awful because he touched my goddamn crab dip. Ruin the crab dip. No crusted cheese on the top. None. None. There has to be a hair somewhere touching me. Ha ha ha. Aha. You know what that is from? That is from Mary Poppins when she digs in her bag and she goes whoop, and she pulls out the really tall lamp, right? And then she goes, aha. And the other day I was going tanning and I walked in and I was like, you, hello. And she was like, what is that from? And I was like, it is from a cartoon. I think it's a bird. And I was very wrong. It was from Mary Poppins, and it was from when they jumped into the sidewalk chalk that Bert had done, and the chimney sweep. And he's still alive. What is his name? Dean? I can't remember his name. But they jump in the sidewalk chalk, and then they end up on a fox hunt. And the guy that shows up on his horse, he goes, you, hello, when he sees the fox. But so fucking guy with that goddamn crab dip. God, I was mad. So another thing, this was the main thing that pissed me off. Rehabs. Now, recovery is a fickle thing, right? Because I feel like I'm having a hard time with eye contact right now, and I'm only making it with myself, which makes it very, very silly. So, recovery is a weird thing. So when I first got sober and I started going to AA and I would listen to people who talked about relapsing, they normally told the same stories, right? It was I would go to meetings and I would do the program and I'd have a sponsor and I'd work the steps and I'd sponsor people and I'd do service and blah, 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 blah. And then when I relapsed, I stopped going to meetings, I stopped working with a sponsor, I stopped sponsoring people, I stopped doing service, stopped working the steps, and then I relapsed, right? And pretty much, if you listen to the people who talked about relapsing, they really did. They all said pretty much the same thing. So what I thought when I first joined AA was that in order to stay sober, what I had to do is I had to go to a ton of meetings, I had to have a sponsor, I had to do the steps, which I did. I had a sponsor, I had to do service, and my life really had to be wrapped up in AA. Otherwise, I would drink. And I mean, no one was going to argue that. That was what I learned, and that was what I was taught. And the people that went to rehab and they didn't come out and ask for help in an AA meeting, generally they didn't stay sober, and that was just what I was taught. So, what I've learned in 7 years is I had these ideas about why I didn't want AA before I joined it. What is it called? Something before investigation. Oh, contempt prior to investigation, right? I hated AA before I knew what AA was, and so I wouldn't join it, right? And then what I got from AA was a very small box of how it works, if it was going to work, and the only way that it would work, right? And so if you didn't fit in that box, and you weren't going to be able to stay sober, and it wasn't going to work for you. And I didn't understand that, narrow minds just walk narrow paths. And so shared not I shared. So what I have figured out in 7 years is that recovery, as much as I love being sober, the best thing in my life I ever did was quit smoking. Because cigarettes had me in a way that alcohol never did. Massive slave to cigarettes. God, I love them so much. I would smoke them for the rest of my life if they wouldn't kill me. I want them every day. If we go to World War III, I'm walking right next door to that fucking liquor store and I'm buying all the Marlboro menthol lights. And I will smoke all of them because I'm not going to raw dog a goddamn war. But if that doesn't happen, I'm never going to smoke again. or have any nicotine, because if I have any nicotine, I will end up in a pack and a half within 2 days. So, but the best thing that ever happened to me was accidentally getting sober 7 years ago, right? And I didn't want to be sober, and I never thought I could be sober, and this wasn't the life I wanted, but it is the best thing that happened to me. I've this entire life that I have is because I am sober, and I have a beautiful life, full of beautiful people, amazing friends. I have these great dogs. I have a great family. I have a great job. I have love. I have all these amazing things. I have 1,000 shoes. I have 1,000 shoes. So I have an amazing life, and it's all because I am sober. And recovery is the best thing that ever happened to me, and you are never going to hear me say otherwise. However, recovery is fucking annoying, and it's annoying because of the people, 100%, and it's annoying because of the judgment, and it's annoying because of the box. It's just a box, right? It's a box, and the program of Alcoholics Anonymous is a great program, and the steps that we use in AA and NA, and I'm gonna imagine that any A, right? Like Cocaine Addicts Anonymous, Sexaholics Anonymous, uh, Foodaholics. I don't. The food is so hard because you have to eat it, and it's your pride. So whatever, man. Any aholics, right? I'm gonna assume that they use the same steps. I don't know. I've only ever done AA and been to NA. But the steps work. The steps really do. They work. The steps work, and they help you clear out the wreckage inside of yourself so that you don't need what. They help you fix what's broken, right? They help you. They just help you clear away the wreckage so you don't have to bury your pain in booze and drugs and sex and whatever you use. I mean, I use a lot of things to cover myself up because it's so loud, right? But the steps do help. So does therapy. I mean, there are other things that help. But so the idea that you have to do things this way or you're not sober is very off-putting to me now because it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. And I have known people in AA that have walked away from AA and have stayed sober. I've known people that have been sober without AA. I know people that go to AA all the time, and that's great. That's awesome for them. I know that since Scott died, I have not found a way to enjoy AA the way that I used to. I haven't, and I haven't figured it out yet. Maybe someday I will. Maybe. I haven't yet. And it's been uh it'll be 3 years in November since he died. And I don't know. I don't know if it'll be this year where I figure it out or if it'll be next year. I don't know. I don't know if I ever will. I know that I still go to meetings. I know that I still go to celebrations. I know that I still have a sponsor. I know that I still share when I'm asked if I can. And uh, I know that I'm so grateful and I still know where I came from, where I can end up, and that AA did save my life. But I don't have a home group. It doesn't make me less sober than you. I do not think that I am cured. I know that if I drank tomorrow, within a year, I'd be suicidal. I know that alcohol is a problem for me the way that I know I cannot smoke cigarettes or have nicotine. I'm not stupid. I am aware of what is inside of me. I am very aware. But it doesn't mean that I have to do this the same way that somebody else does. It doesn't. And AA and and I'm not AA, the people in AA love to say that you have to do it the way that I did it, do it. You have to do it the way that I do it. You have to do it the way that I did it. And if you don't, then you're not doing it right, or you're not as sober as I am, or whatever the fuck. So I shared at a rehab for over 6 years. I started going up there when I was 8 months sober, and I had a friend who went up there for like 2 years, and she stayed sober 6 years. And at 6 years, she decided she wasn't an alcoholic anymore, and she drank. And so what I figured was I was just going to keep going on it, and I was going to keep going up. And if she went for 2 years and stayed sober for 6, then I was just going to see how long I could go and see how much longer I could stay sober than 6 years, right? I was just going to base it off of her. And so I just kept going and I kept going. And I have never changed my story because, I think I said this on here in my recovery story. I was told very early on by a friend that people remember when you share, and they do. I've had people tell me in meetings, like, I heard you share at a rehab. I'm like, ugh, but they'll remember if you lie. So I don't lie. The shit doesn't always come out exactly the same because, I mean, you guys have, if you're here for episode 22 and you've been here for 22 of them or however many, I mean, you know what this zoo. So I don't always share the same, but I always share the same. And so I also am honest in a way at that rehab that I'm not always honest in meetings because get a grown in a meeting full of like men in their 60s, they don't need to hear about how I was raped. They don't need to hear about abortions. And they don't need the rawness that a group of women, because I only share to women there now. After COVID, they separated the women and the men. So it's just women. I know that men have been molested. I know that. But on the whole, almost every single woman I know in AA and in addiction and in alcoholism has been raped, assaulted, beaten, abused. All of us, right? That is not the story for all men. I share things with women when they are at their bottom that I don't feel is necessary to share at a meeting full of people with 30 years sober. That doesn't make me less honest at a meeting than it does at the rehab. It just, not everything is for everybody, and that is fine. So, but I will say that I am always honest with the women at the rehabs, and I always share exactly where I am. They get me. They get me at my most honest. And so I went up there over the summer and I talked about how I didn't have a home group right now. And I don't go up there, I don't fluff. I don't talk about how they're going to, they get out and they're clean and they're sober and everything's perfect. I talk about how early sobriety was hard for me. I felt all the feelings I'd never felt. I don't like being sober. Everything is very loud. I mean, clearly, right? Like all these things I never dealt with, they're all right here. And oh my God, it's just so amazing being sober. I'm so blessed. I'm forever grateful. My higher power is amazing. Fuck off, man. I felt so raw and open, and I was a wound. I was so depressed. I was so broken, and now I wasn't drunk, and it was awful. And so people go up there and they just fluffing bullshit and just go find Jesus. I don't care what you fucking find. I want you to find a meeting and I want you to ask for help, and that's the only thing I fucking give a fuck about. I want you to know that I have to. I need to do strength training is one of the things I have to do for this new hormone thing, and thank God because this guy is pissing me off. So I am honest. I am honest. And I told him I didn't have a home group and I told him why. I said, I lost Scott. And when he was fighting to live, I listened to people fight to die because they're so fucking whining in these goddamn meetings, man. Be whining about everything, smallest shit. And they're whining. God. And they need so much attention and they just go fuck off. Call your sponsor, call a friend, sit in these meetings and get the message and shut the fuck up. Because I don't need your mess. I go to meetings for message. And I'm not saying that you don't matter, but I'm saying in the meeting, your mess doesn't matter. Message. I just want the fucking message. People they sit there and they just need so much fucking attention. I don't have it in me. It's why I don't go to meetings. I'm not going to sit there and tell people they don't belong there and I don't want to hear their shit. That's why people don't come back. And these meetings save lives. I don't take this vitriol into meetings. It's why I don't go to meetings. Because I'm not running people out of a fucking program that can save their lives. So I go to celebrations where it's message, not mess. That's what I do. I know where I will hurt people and I don't do that. But I talked about how I didn't have a home group and how I figured out how to make softball almost a home group. How I made recovery softball fit my life and keep me in the middle of this shit and keep me in AA in a way that made it so I wasn't fighting to lose a chair that I knew was saving my life every day, right? And I was honest. I was honest with those girls. And so the next time I went up there, I was asked not to talk about that again. I was asked not to talk about that because it bothered. I think it bothered the long-term girls because I've been going up there for 6 years and there are a lot of girls who've been there for a minute, like with children. So I think some of them just got tired of hearing me share. And so some of them complained about it. And I think it might have bothered someone that worked there. But I said, okay, I will leave that out. And I never talked about it again. I didn't say I didn't have a home group. I left that part out. I just skipped right over that part. I will do your dance. Because what they do at rehabs is they force the girls and the men, they force them to go to AA when they're long term. They force them to go to AA and they force them to get sponsors and they force them to do the steps. They force them to go to meetings, right? Which is horseshit because you can't force somebody to want this shit. You can't. And you can put them in meetings. And I mean, I guess it gives them an hour or fucking 2 hours outside of the fucking rehab, fine. But it doesn't mean shit. It just means you're forcing them to do something and whatever. I'll get to that. But so I didn't share that shit. But I didn't change because I'm not changing. I'm not going to share the way that I share to these women. I am honest. And if there's one thing I know that I am a good rehab share. I know that I'm a good share for newcomers because I'm honest. I'm honest in a way that a lot of people aren't. I'm not going to fluff your bullshit up. Sobriety is not always fun. It is not fun in the beginning. It is hard. It is hard feeling all the things you haven't felt for your fucking whole life. So I went back in November with Maggie, and I shared first and she shared, and there were two new people down there. There was a dude and a chick, and I didn't know either of them. And Maggie watched them. I shared first. Maggie watched them make eyes at each other and roll their eyes and shit when I was sharing. And she said I did it when she was sharing too. And I got a phone call from the dude who's in charge of like the AA meetings there about almost a week later. And he was like, I'm so sorry to make this phone call. And I was like, I'm not allowed back. And he was like, I've been asked to just tell you that we don't need you to do your service position anymore. I'm going up there once a month for 6 years. 6 years. And I was like, why? And it was my language. It's my language. It was the word vagina, first of all. I shared to a room full of women, only the women, and that dude I don't know. And I would talk about how when I am drunk, my vagina has a bad picker. Because I don't discern good or bad men when I'm drunk. I don't deserve anything. I'm fucking blacked out half the time. So I was like, my vagina makes poor decisions when I'm drunk. Because I black out, she takes over. That's just what happens. So I talk about how my vagina will lead me around. I use the word vagina in a room full of women. Vagina. It is a medical term. I didn't say pussy. I said vagina, right? And then I talked about how I don't live my life in this program the way that everybody does. There was a woman in Frederick who, when I first got sober, she moved to Nashville and they had this huge house so they could allow women to detox, and probably men, in their basement before they had a spot in the rehab. My house is 800 square feet. I got 3 dogs. You're not going to detox anywhere in my fucking house. It doesn't make me less sober than she is. It's just our lives are different, right? I am the only caregiver for 3 dogs. So when I am not working, I try to be at home. I don't take women to meetings because I try to be at home. Taking them to meetings for Mountain Manor is a 3-hour process. I try to be at home with these 3 dogs that only I take care. It doesn't make me less sober than other people. And I said to them, I was like, I had a woman one time say she wanted to talk to my sponsor about my program in AA, how I work my program. Fuck you. Fuck you and your fucking opinions. It doesn't make me less sober because you have a fucking opinion. Fuck you and your fucking opinions. Just because I don't do this the way that you do it doesn't make me any less sober. That's what I fucking said to those girls. I need you to know that that is why I got asked to not go back to that rehab. So I love recovery. Recovery and rehabs, mostly rehabs in my opinion. I know that they save lives. I think it's amazing there's a place that people can go and they can detox some places and they can just go and be away and be safe. But I think they're so full of shit. I think they pump people full of meds. I think they misdiagnose people. How are you going to tell someone that they're bipolar when you see them for 28 days and they're detoxing? Haven't been sober for 14 fucking years and you're going to tell someone they're bipolar? How do you know that? People come out of rehab on fucking gabapentin. They come out on Adderall. They come out on Seroquel. You got them on sleeping meds. You got them on gabapentin. You fucking put them on Adderall. Half the time they're on Sublocade, Subzolve, Suboxone. You put them on methadone. Fucking getting them addicted to other goddamn drugs. I know rehabs around here that don't fire people when the men sleep with the fucking clients. I know one where it was rumored that the owner was sleeping with a client. I know that HIPAA violations. I know that one where one of the dudes was stealing the medication and selling it. I know that there's a rehab around here that is not able to be used to intern in with the local community college because I guess the community college doesn't find them sound enough. I know that they get kickbacks from the state for putting the people on medication. I know that there are places around here that if they know that you left their rehab facility and you didn't get better, but you went back out, they can tell the insurance companies you're still doing programs with them, so they still get money from the insurance companies. How about that? That's insurance fraud. That's an exciting one. I know so many things. And I know that rehabs help, but I also know that they're disgusting. And I got asked not to share at a rehab anymore once a month on my own time after 6 years because I used the word vagina and the word fuck. Nice. Nice. I find it to be bullshit. So, I mean, I like the guy who reached out to me and told me I couldn't do it anymore. And he said if I could guarantee that I wouldn't talk that way, I'd be welcome back. And I said, no, I am not going to stop sharing like this. If I go to a meeting and they ask me not to swear, I do not swear. I am perfectly capable of not swearing. I've been at luncheons with generals. I am perfectly capable of not swearing. I also know my crowd. And when you are sitting in a rehab, when people are in it, I mean, I watch people who cannot sit down. They are so fucking in it. You watch them nodding off. You know, these women within 28 days of a needle or a bottle, they are in it. And I'm going to use the word fuck around these women. So to tell me that I can't say fuck or vagina around these women, come on, man. It's just bullshit. So he called me the other day, or he texted me and he asked if I'd found another service commitment. I said, no, after 6 years, I'm taking a break. I will still share. I went to a sober house recently and I shared for those girls and I guess they enjoyed it. And uh, it's just unreal. It's unreal. I am not less sober than anybody else, and I'm not unhealthy. I am a happy girl, and I have really good relationships with everyone that I am close to. I have really good relationships, and I am good at compartmentalizing. The most unhealthy thing in my life is the fact that I have these damn migraines, and hopefully going to the hormone place will help that. I am so hopeful that maybe I will get some answers in this body of mine. One of the hardest things right now is this country. And I am going to talk about it briefly because I'm at 31 minutes right now. I hate what's happening in this country. I hate the hypocrisy. It is unreal to me what is happening now. ICE has murdered, well, 9 people. I don't know if it was this year, but 3 this year. Keith Porter out, I think it was in LA. He was shot on New Year's Eve. And Renee Nicole Good, she was 2 weeks ago. And on Saturday, it was Pretty. And he was executed. And so what kills me is that when Pretty was killed, he was carrying a gun. It was holstered. He had a permit to carry in Minnesota, and you can carry anywhere in the public. And he had the permit, and he just had it holstered at his back, and they had disarmed him, like 6 people on top of him. And after they had taken the gun away, they shot him. They shot him 10 times. 10 times. They shouldn't have shot him once. This is the same with Renee Good, right? When she was shot driving away and they said that she tried to run the guy over. So that's why he shot her. And he shot her 3 times through an open window. And he had already gotten out of the way after he shot her twice, like the second and third time, right? And the kill shot was the 3rd time when he was well out of the way of the vehicle. So, I mean, you just watch this shit and you're like, you guys, you're just trying to murder people. And the way that the people justify it is bananas because I've said on here so many times that you don't only get to care about the Second Amendment and the pew pews. If you care about the Constitution, you care about the entire Constitution. And the way that the right stopped caring about the pew pews because the pew pew is in the hand of someone on the left is unreal. They gave them the pew pews. And I just cannot handle it that they just don't see that their government is just as bad as the other ones were, right? Because they're just brainwashed and like they just keep saying that the left wants the murderers and the child molesters and the rapists to stay in the country because that's what they think all immigrants are. All the illegal immigrants are criminals, right? That's what they've done is they've created a narrative that anybody who's undocumented is not just a criminal, but they are the massive violent ones. They are the murderers and the rapists. And like the guy who killed Lake and Riley, right? The girl who was running, which was super sad. She was running and she was killed by an undocumented immigrant. And that's awful. That's awful. And like 140 girls were killed running in the past, I don't know, like 5 years or something. She was the only one by an undocumented immigrant, though. You know why? Because people just like to kill women. That's just, and so I'm not saying that's not bad that she was killed by an undocumented immigrant, but like, What about the other women who were just killed by men? Because it's not that the undocumented immigrants are the problem, it's the men. And I mean, the government is protecting the Epstein files, and that's full of child predators, right? But they don't care about that. They only care about the illegal immigrants. And there was this fraud in Minnesota based on Somalians and a food thing where over COVID they asked for funds for to feed the hungry over COVID, and they diverted all of it. It was fraud and it was stolen and it was a big deal. I mean, it sucks. They started investigating it in 2021. They've prosecuted like 15 people. They've found guilty like 12 something. I mean, they're in the process of dealing with it. And this fucking dumb 23-year-old white kid shows up and does this performative shit with the daycares, and he's just an asshole, right? And so what do? They send ICE to Minnesota, where there's only 130,000 illegal immigrants, and they're terrorizing the streets, and they're killing people, and they're, oh my God, dragging a 5-year-old little boy whose dad came here from Ecuador under asylum. And they took him and his father to Texas, and he's been in jail ever since. And people are like, well, his dad ran away, and ICE took care of him. His mom is still in Minnesota. The little boy is in jail. Why is little boy in jail if his family's in Minnesota? Send him back to Minnesota. You want to keep the dad for no reason because he's here legally. Well, fuck you. Send the kid back to his fucking family. So they justify it, but they're there. There's 2 million undocumented immigrants in Texas. Like 2 million. And you're going to tell me this is about illegal immigration? It's not. It's not at all. It's about putting the boot on the neck of Minnesota. And that's it. And I don't know how they can't see what's happening, because it's not about immigration. It's about suppression. It's about control. It's wrong. It's so wrong. And I just spend every day trying to figure out how to fucking have a revolution. Oh, God. I keep thinking of Newsies, and they make that paper. They make their little newspaper, and then they fling the sheets out um in the streets, and then all the children, all of them strike, and they all march. And I can't strike tomorrow because it's supposed to be a strike tomorrow, and I can't do it because I have to work because I'm poor. But they all strike, and they shut down the newspapers, and they shut down the plants because child labor was so bad, and they get the reform they need, and FDR steps in New York. And I keep thinking about that paper and how I want to start a newspaper, and using that paper could start a new political party that has nothing to do with the Republicans or the Democrats, because one isn't Republicans anymore, and the Democrats just, good job Chuck Schumer with the DHS funding, but also like they're just weak, and I'm tired of weakness. And what if we started a party that really was of the people, right? I think I've talked about this before, and we just did it, and I want to figure out how to do it. And I spend every day thinking about this, but I know how good my life is. I swear the dichotomy of my brain is exhausting, but I watch what's happening with ICE, and I watch people excuse it, and I do not get it. I don't get it, and I think it's disgusting. And I have been really good about having conversations with people who don't agree with me, and about keeping things separate in, you think this, but you are who this is, right? And I really have. I've been trying to be the person who can compartmentalize, but this is humanity, and I am not having an easy time with this, because they're murdering people, and they're not trying to hide it anymore. And even, we've always had people be murdered. I've seen this thing. I said this to my sister today. You see it like on Instagram and TikTok and shit, and people are like, oh, look at the white people now understanding white people will get murdered. Listen, before there were ever race wars, people have always enslaved, raped, and murdered women. Women have always been the bottom totem pole. I know that I'm white. I know that apparently I'm a few rungs above other women that are a different color than me, but I'm still a woman, and I'm still at the bottom, which is crazy because I'm better than anybody with a penis. So, women have always been the bottom. Doesn't surprise me that they're killing white people, because again, white women have always been at the bottom. God, like, before there were race wars, it was just men and women. And again, men are the only natural predator to women. It doesn't surprise me they're killing white people. What surprises me is that it doesn't bother MAGA, because I figured if anything might make them see the other side, it was that they're killing white people. However, it can't make it a lesbian for sure. If it had been a pretty white woman with a nice white husband, we could have had a different conversation here. But we had to go and kill a lesbian and make it just, well, fuck her. Ugh. So yeah. And then it ices here, and then they don't plow my house for like 2 days. And the irony is not lost on me that I was trapped in my house by ice. And I was like, come on, man. All I do every day is post about how ice is bullshit and it's bad for the country and it's awful. And I am posting it all the time. And then look, now I'm trapped by it. And the irony is just everywhere in my life. And so, yeah, so those are things that annoy me right now. People that stir my dips without permission. Which, come on, again, and those fucking mustaches. Be a man. Your gay fucking little baby mustache with fuck off. Duh. And also men who grow beards and then when they shave, they shouldn't be allowed near playgrounds, because that's real. Some people, when they don't have facial hair, they look like they touch children. I'm so sorry, men. Grow a chin. Yeah. And when I'm at recovery, man, I don't judge the disease. I judge so much else. Definitely the shoes. People have trash shoes. Make trash decisions with their genitals. Vaginas are bad pickers. Yeah, episode 22. It's been a minute. Hopefully I talk to you guys soon. I always think about doing this and then I just lay on the couch and I end up watching a thing. I just get stuck. There's a great new show called The Beauty. It's fucked up. It does weird things. And George R. R. Martin, God, fuck him. So HBO comes out with a brand new fucking Game of Thronesy show. Before I get the next book, Catelyn Stark's gonna be a zombie for fucking ever. And I just want the next book. And opening scene of the first episode is a dude taking a shit. Opening scene of the second episode is baby arm dick on an old man who's dead. And like, come on, just give us the next book already. Come on. So now more than ever, man, stay fucking indignant and bratty and damn the man save the empire and keep talking about this shit. I had some guy make a smart ass comment. I just deleted it in my messages on Instagram yesterday. I think it was yesterday. He was like, "Did you stop DHS or ICE yet?" And I fucking get it, man. I know that I'm just one person in Frederick, Maryland, with a small platform. Like I don't. It's not like I like. Nobody fucking follows me. Nobody sees this shit. But like, if you don't talk about it, then they just get away with it. They just murder people, and it just happens, and it just get away with it. And I would really hope that if someone murdered me, man, people would talk about it. Because, God, man, I hope that I would matter enough for it to be talked about, right? So, I keep talking about this shit. Damn the man, save the empire. Fuck ICE for sure. I love you guys. Fuck winter. Bye.